Man, in this world of social media, one single photo could have a domino effect that could end up getting you murked. All it takes is that one simple photo mistakenly getting posted, or even posted on purpose showing your location or what jewelry you're rocking, and people that are just lurking on your story that might not even be your fans, man, they could even be your fans, just waiting for you to slip up just so they can take advantage, man. It happens all the time, and unfortunately for the rising rapper and Trippie Redd associate Chris King, this small mistake is looking like it might be what contributed to him losing his life.
And police are looking for 3 suspects in a fatal Midtown shooting. We're learning police say 32-year-old Christopher Cheeks was killed in
a brazen double shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, man. The underground rap world was pretty much stunned when news broke on Friday that Chris King was the victim of senseless gun violence. There was tributes from DJ Scheme, Trippie Redd, and Justin Bieber. Bro was an up-and-coming rapper with connections and drive that honestly made it a huge surprise when people saw that he lost his life this weekend. You know, I would have never have guessed looking at Chris King, especially just seeing him on social media and how he interacted with fans and would pull up and just be outside. But when more details have actually come out in his final hours, it actually paints a crazy picture of what can go wrong if you just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, man. Today we got to get into the beef that ended the 1400 rapper Chris King right now, and what went down in the situation in Nashville that ended up ending his life right now. But before we do, man, you already know what we got to do, man. Like, comment, subscribe. We're on the road to 100k subscribers, man. Make sure you tap into that merch link in the description and hit that notification bell so whenever I post, y'all tune in right away. No reoccurring viewers, man. We're going to tap into this mad sad situation right now, man. Let's get into it. Chris King was a super slept on rapper coming out of Fontana, California. Growing up in that dusty shithole that is the Inland Empire, bro had very little options but to find a way and go and get it. He eventually started selling lean, going out in Los Angeles trying to build connections. Because of his real love for music though, he was always trying to be a rapper. While in LA, he was able to tap in and get into a good relationship with Trippie Redd. Basically became a staple of his entourage and, you know, the whole 1400 era. Bro was really one of the early people around Trippie in the early SoundCloud days, making a name for himself on his feature on Trippie Redd's song Love Scars Part 2, which in the underground SoundCloud era was a huge hit. It was honestly one of his biggest songs at the time, and pretty much from that point on he was solidified in the underground rap world and had connections that reached as far as apparently Justin Bieber, man. But fast forward several years after Trippie Redd's peak, it looked like Chris's career was starting to slow down as well. It felt like this whole group was sort of, you know, going through the natural stages of a SoundCloud artist. Obviously Trippie Redd is pretty far outside of his peak. If he's that far out of his peak, imagine how it would have been for Chris King. You know, he obviously probably wasn't getting shows as much. The money started probably slowing up as much and probably had to do a lot of things on the side to try to make it through and pay bills. It seemed like he wasn't really getting LA shows like that, and that could have been a contributing factor into his downfall, because in the last couple of days of him being alive, he got booked for a show that was pretty far from his usual stomping grounds in California, out in Nashville, Tennessee, and unfortunately it ended up being his last, man. And we got to get exactly into what happened down there. Although Chris King was sort of on the tail end of his career, he was still getting booked, and the only issue being that the shows were nowhere near LA. In his last couple days, Chris King actually got booked out for a show at the Canna Festival in Nashville. It's 420 weekend, so you know, the day before 420 they had all these weed brands basically set up out that way at a park in Nashville. And for Chris King, it seemed like the festival he pulled up to was just like a low-key weed smoking festival, and he pretty much posted his entire day on Instagram, and that was part of the red flag that I kind of saw. So when you were looking at his story, if you followed him, you saw that he was flexing like his rolling and stuff, and basically flexing his change, and was posted up just out in the field, not with like a large group, just, you know, basically by himself. Pulled up to the festival, did a low-key show, pulled up, and it was pretty lit. But I feel like that was definitely the beginning of the end. Flexing his watch and flexing his chain. Obviously in LA you probably shouldn't do that, but people are used to that. But out there, people would definitely see that and be like looking at you like a lick. And I feel like these rappers be off the gas and off the lean, just vibing off the shits and don't really be thinking about their environment, or just the fact that these broke dudes around them that might be kicking it or nearby will do anything for $1. Because while the show and his performance seemed like a success, he went to the studio afterwards to do features, and it would be his lack of awareness though that would ultimately lead to his downfall in a shooting that would go down just a couple hours after being in the studio.
And police are looking for 3 suspects in a fatal Midtown shooting. We're learning police say 32-year-old Christopher Cheeks was killed and another 29-year-old man was injured. The victim said he and Cheeks were hanging out before a group of 3 suspects tried to rob them. It was during that time shots were fired. The 29-year-old was taken to the hospital for his injuries. Cheeks was found in the parking garage of the Hayes Street Hotel. He was taken to Vanderbilt, where he later died.
Early Saturday morning, about 2:30 a.m., a shooting was reported at the 1909 Hayes Street Metro. Nashville police said. Someone even posted it on their Snapchat story reporting that someone had gotten shot over in an alley type way. Police responded and found one person was killed and another person injured in a shooting in an alleyway between Hayes and Church Streets early Saturday morning. Homicide detectives are still active and trying to find leads. The fatal shooting of Christopher Cheeks, aka Chris King, was reported, and he was reportedly killed at the scene, and another 29-year-old man was also injured. But police were able to paint a story of what exactly had kind of gone down that night. So police believe that Cheeks, aka Chris King, was at the location with friends when 3 men began interacting with the group. The police said that the 29-year-old victim reported the group was hanging out cordially for some time before 3 suspects attempted to rob his group of friends. It was then that he heard gunfire and realized he was struck. The victim, Cheeks, aka Chris King, and their other friends ran off in separate directions. The 29-year-old was found on Church Street and was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center for treatment. However, Cheeks was found in the parking lot garage of the Hayes Street Hotel, and he was taken to Vanderbilt, where he was reportedly dead. The initial report that police gave made it seem like as though they had been plotting on Chris King and had pulled up on him. There were initial rumors online that he had been set up or something along those lines, but judging by the fact that the police say it was a group of friends, it seemed like it was more likely one of 2 scenarios. You know, one being that people saw his story and were plotting on him throughout the day because they saw they had a lot of jewelry on and was basically flexing, or people saw him either at the festival or in the area that he was posted in. You know, it was 420 weekend, so people were probably lit over there and attempted to rob him. The very fact that they say that there was 3 people that basically pulled up on him, it sounds like some type of targeted situation. It was definitely planned ahead of time, because how are you going to just find 2 other people that are down to rob someone in a moment's notice? You know, it obviously sounds like it was something that was like previously planned, or it could have been people just, you know, going around looking for someone to rob. Obviously, it seems like he didn't have that fire on him, which was his critical mistake. Police say the group spread out and ran, so it seems that bro was most likely ill prepared. It's crazy because people think it's only the large scale rappers that can get robbed in a city they are unfamiliar with, but it can really happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. But bro really should have did his research on the state of Tennessee. I'm not gonna lie. While Nashville doesn't get the same type of rap of a city like Memphis does, the whole state of Tennessee be on some straight crazy shit, man. If you look at someone like Young Dolph or Yo Gotti's big brother Big Ju, they weren't safe in their own city within Tennessee, so what would make you think that you would be safe in the city of Nashville with no fire, man? Honestly, just walking around with chains. Like, you're literally walking around with a gun on you because it's allowed. No one's really gonna try you like that. You know, I'm pretty sure open carry is allowed, but it would be kind of a fried mindset to know all this and see that people are actively allowed to carry guns even legally and still think that you can walk around with your jewelry on, with your chains on, with your rollie on, and not have a gun, especially in a city where you don't really know and the guns are just readily available for everyone else, man. It's just a combination that isn't really good. Bro wasn't even trying to be low key. You know, he was pretty much posting his whole location the whole time. So it's just a matter of time that people were able to catch up to him. And just me personally knowing of him, and I've known people that shot videos for him, and he's the type of dude that really would be outside like that. Like, bro would be posted on Melrose, bro would be posted in Miami, in places where like people would be out and stuff and be posted up selling his clothes, selling his weed, you know, selling his merch, pushing his music to the streets and stuff like that. He was like one of those type of dudes that was always interacting with fans, interacting with people, you know, posted up selling stuff. So it seems that he probably was doing the same thing, but he was doing it in a city that he was unfamiliar with, doing it in a city where gun violence is crazy, there's mad shootings all the time, doing it in a city where guns are readily available, and doing it in a city where people are not used to rappers just being out and about like that. Like, maybe in LA people will be out and about like that and might see you and might not try to rob you. I mean, there are people that would be trying to rob you out in LA, but like, there'd be, you know, the average fan out there would be like, oh shit, that's a rapper, and be excited. When the average fan in Nashville might see you with all your chains and stuff and be like, yo, this dude is a lick right here. So it's just super unfortunate what happened to him. Obviously, prayers to his family and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this is a lesson to like rappers, even not the A tier rappers, but like the B tier rappers, the C tier rappers, the dudes that just pull up and do these low key shows. If you go have jewelry and be like that, or gas or any type of valuables on you, you need to move militantly, especially when you have like so many thousand fans and followers that follow you on a moment's notice. People just looking up for a lick, man. I wouldn't be surprised whoever hit him up ends up getting caught within the next couple days, which would be a total waste of everyone's time. Bro literally murked someone and probably will get caught. These people are not very smart, you know. Most of the time that these incidents happen that we see on this channel, these dudes be murking them and don't even get away within the next week or so. There's so many cameras everywhere, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was the case here. You know, it was a pretty busy area that this went down, but it's just so unfortunate that it had to go down like this, that someone lost their life like this. And I really hope it's not a scenario where they find out that bro just wasn't trying to give it up, because people be ending up endangering their own lives not giving up their jewelry, man. Like, look at the happened to like Pop Smoke. Look at what happened to PNB Rock. Like, man, if you have the situation where someone is just rushing you, trying to rob you, and they're pointing a gun at your face, like, just give up what you have. You don't want to end up getting robbed and shot over something that's just, you know, valuables and stuff like that. Like, get away with your life at the end of the day, man. But that's just how I feel. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this whole situation. Let me know what y'all think about Chris King's music and stuff, and let me know what y'all think, man. It's a crazy scenario. At the end of the day, I would have never expected this type of thing to happen, and bro has some super fire songs and a pretty promising career. All he needed was a little bit more attention. That's why it's just kind of crazy when I look at like Justin Bieber and stuff, posts like that. Obviously Trippie gave dude mad features, but it's like these same people could have been helping bro out and get him legitimate shows in legitimate places, so he didn't have to be out in booty fuck Nashville trying to get a bag and end up getting murked. But that's just how I feel. I mean, I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything like that, but at the end of the day, that's just how I feel, because bro was definitely not where he could have been. He was good enough to be a lot further than that, but you know how it goes in the music industry. No one really wants to help anyone out. But hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about that.